As an anime fan who got into the medium in the mid-2010s, I got to see firsthand the shifts that the community went through as a high schooler. The beginning of SAO and Attack on Titan dominating the culture, the slow takeover of the isekai, the uncomfortable amount of hentai merch being worn at school. One of the biggest changes I saw firsthand was the rise and sudden fall of Tokyo Ghoul. Now, there's lots of series that have some drop off in popularity. Anime like One Punch Man just kind of wane in popularity, not largely due to the lack of quality, but just as a sign of how times change. New seasons bring new ongoing anime, leaving most as a memory of the time period it aired in. But Tokyo Ghoul was something else. The amount of love and support I saw for the first season, both online and in person, was staggering. The iconic OP with Unravel by TK was literally everywhere and still is. The amount of people I saw wear the Kaneki mask was insane. And I'm not talking about like conventions, although I saw it there, or like Japanese festivals and stuff, but also just at school. Again, where are your guys' parents? Manga panels are still being used for subpar memes. Tokyo Ghoul was everywhere, only to fall off hard. Revisiting the first season nowadays, I still liked it a lot. It had some good world building, some lore, an interesting story with stakes and great characters, add on the aforementioned amazing opening, and this was just a standout show. The fall part can really just be chalked up to how the following seasons were a complete shit show. Not because of the source material, on the contrary, from what I've read of the manga's 200 or so chapters, it's fucking phenomenal. But because Sui Ishida, the original manga author, decided to season the story with some anime original ideas that completely changed the story for the second season, Route A. This is fine in concept. If anything, it keeps all viewers, manga fans included, invested in what's to come. The problem is that it sucked as a follow-up to the first season, nor did it adapt any of the good stuff from this era of the manga. The way it was done resulted in a jumbled mess of a second season that surprisingly and unsurprisingly disappointed the entire fan base. Save for the opening, which is almost as good as Unravel. I will fight for that one. Then, eventually realizing their mistake, Studio Pierrot decided to basically ignore Route A and faithfully adapt the sequel manga, Tokyo Ghoul Re, meaning that the anime timeline had effectively skipped over an entire chunk of the story, turning the anime's upset fanbase into a confused one. And as a side effect, they had to adapt 181 chapters in almost 24 episodes. For my high school anime club Secret Santa one year, my math teacher, who was also the sponsor for the club, got me volume 1 of both One Punch Man and Tokyo Ghoul. Little did I realize that was God's way of warning me to just read the manga. I mention all of this to say that by the time a survival action game based on the property was released in 2019, an entire year after the end of both the manga and the anime, the fanbase was either satisfied and moved on, or were burned twice. But if you've seen this channel, then you know that I'll never learn my lesson. And with that being said, this is Tokyo Ghoul Re: Call to Exist. What a title. It was $5 on the winter Steam sale, you can't blame me. The main campaign picks up at the ass end of season 1 of the anime, or chapter 64 of the manga, which is important since from this point onward, both mediums go in polar opposite directions. At first glance, the game doesn't make it easy to understand what canon it wants to stick to, but after playing the game, you'll see it's actually attempting to adapt the anime. Which is the worst but most cost-effective decision that they could have made, since all the voice acting was already done from the anime and they can just copy and paste that into here. Ideally, Three Rings would have adapted the manga with the look of the anime, but it could have been mandated by Bandai Namco to keep brand synergy with the recently finished third season. But somehow, we got stuck with a story that's even more rushed. The fact that Call to Exist story is worse than the already subpar second season is a feat I could never fucking imagine. Covering 3 seasons of material in one game is a bad idea as is, which is why no anime games try to do it. Many other adaptations try to mitigate this issue by only covering a specific arc or by creating a completely original story. And this is evidence why. What we're left with is a story you won't be able to enjoy whatsoever unless you watched all 3 seasons of the anime, which you won't enjoy unless you read all 200 or so chapters in the manga. And by that point, you already know what's going to happen. Twice. So as an adaptation of Tokyo Ghoul, this sucks, and it was always going to. Leaving the gameplay as the saving grace, and I don't even know where to begin. This game is credited as being developed by 3 Rings, not to be confused with 3 Rings, a developer of a Doctor Who game. I just have it as the developer of Doctor Who _ I forgot to put the full title in, my bad. Our 3 Rings has developed a couple One Piece games, a Rune Factory installment, and 2 Assassination Classroom titles for the 3DS, which is 2 more than I ever knew existed. But Tokyo Ghoul is nowhere to be seen on their website. And when you click the developer's name on Steam, it just redirects to Bandai Namco, the publisher. This is possibly just a case where 3 Rings assisted in development, while Bandai Namco did the brunt of the work, although this is all just speculation. It would make sense though, since Bandai Namco is known for making a lot of clunky AA games based off of popular anime, with Tokyo Ghoul arguably being the worst one that I've played. Call to Exist is an action game with some light dungeon crawling. The first impression you get with your opening fight with Yamori is good. There's a variety of attacks you can do, the voice acting is nice since it was just ripped from the anime, it's all fine and dandy. Then it just keeps on going, and going, and going. Enemies are never ending, which would be fine if they had some variety or offered some sort of challenge, but instead they just feel like fodder standing between you and the objective, and those are just whittled down to press the button to move on or hold square to stop the tear gas. What's worse is that the missions are tedious and complete this same cycle of kill enemies, press a button for upwards of 20 minutes per stage. Listen, I can deal with some clunky shit. I love clunk. I love stupid clunk in my games. And if it played well, this would still be at the bottom of the barrel, but it'd at least be something to pass the time. The issue is that everyone in this game plays slow. Kaneki, the other characters who I'm forgetting the name of right now, the OCs you can make, everybody plays like it's Thanksgiving Day and they've all had their second plate, which isn't what you want in your action game. I don't mind button mashing, but it just feels like there's something I'm missing. Like there's some extra level of complexity to this gameplay like Resident Evil 6 or something, but there isn't. It's just boring. You spam different buttons to attack until you build up your special, rinse and repeat. I'm convinced that most of this game's budget went straight to the special attack animations, but even those are reused to the point of monotony. For a franchise known for their characters' different Kagune, aka the weird tentacles that come out of the ghouls' backs, all of them play and feel the same because they are. This entire thing is copy-paste. It feels like it was made on a dare to fuck with weebs with too much disposable income, because of course this game was released for the full $60. Mind you, this isn't 2014 or 2016, this is 2019, just 4 years ago. The same year that saw the release of DMC5, Judgment, fucking Kingdom Hearts 3, and for anime fans, Kill la Kill If. Hell, Jump Force came out around the same time. It's not much of an upgrade, but it's at least not as offensive to all of my senses like this is. Jokes and hyperbole aside, I hate comparing games like they're data or they're just meant to be compared to one another. But this fucking game is no more than a cash grab meant to prey on Tokyo Ghoul fans waiting for a game to be released in the States. It's no different than Bandai Namco's other work with SAO, but at least there, they did a good job by giving Dimps the reins, allowing us to get Fatal Bullet. Even the My Hero fighting games, as repetitive as they are at least enjoyable enough. I haven't even gotten to the original characters you can create or the different factions you can play as, because they're not important. Customization is extremely bare bones, with there being very minimal options, and many of the assets are reused from other characters in the game. And investigators play just like ghouls but with guns, and the Quinex or whatever play like a mixture of ghouls and investigators. You get a Kagune and a gun. What-de-fucking-do. I've had this game for about 2 years now, and I've played it on and off, constantly trying to accurately assess my opinions on it, only to always leave stunned at how unsatisfied I am, every single time. This is a boring game with copy and paste enemies, shitty boss fights, and cel-shaded character models against what looks like basic Unreal Engine assets, all while priced at $60. It was so difficult to write a review about this game because at a certain point, my eyes would just glaze over and I'd just start mashing buttons, hoping to make it all end sooner. It's honestly surprising how bland this game is. I will say that the reviews calling this the worst game they've ever played are extremely hyperbolic, at least in my opinion. I had fun at times, but that's just due to how overstimulating the game can be with its enemy count. This works the way Three Rings and Bandai wanted it to, it just isn't very good. A worst game of all time contender is something like Kick-Ass 2. This is just shitty digital fodder that is still, for some reason, being sold for full price on both PC and PS4. God knows why. There is another game, Tokyo Ghoul Jail for the Vita, that I haven't heard much about, but it's exclusive to Japan, and honestly, let's keep it that way. You hear this, guys? Don't fucking fan translate it, keep it in the East. I could read the manga to cleanse my palate, but at this point, I'm good. The less Tokyo Ghoul I think about and the more I leave it in the past, the better. The One Punch Man game is miles better than this fucking shit. I don't know, I thought I had something profound to say or some shit like I do in most of my other anime game videos, but no, this is just bad. Don't forget to share this to MySpace and all that jazz. I'll see you later or whatever.